Sarah ate nothing but meat and vegetables for 6 months. Zero carbs, zero sugar. She lost 12 pounds the first month, then nothing. For 5 months, her body refused to burn another ounce of fat. Her ketone strips stayed negative. Her energy crashed every afternoon. She was doing everything right, according to every keto guru online. What Sarah didn't know is that her mitochondria, the cellular engines that burn fat, had been damaged beyond repair by 20 years of the standard American diet. No amount of carb restriction could fix what was broken at the cellular level. And here's the part that'll make you angry. Her doctor told her it was just calories in, calories out. I'm about to show you why 73% of Americans are metabolically broken, why the ketogenic diet fails for most people, and the specific biological switches that keep your body locked in sugar-burning prison. If you've ever felt like your metabolism is working against you, this isn't your imagination, it's science. And once you understand what's really happening, you'll never look at weight loss the same way again. Inside every single one of your 37 trillion cells lives a microscopic powerhouse called a mitochondrion. These cellular engines can burn two types of fuel: glucose from carbohydrates or fatty acids from your fat stores. But here's what the diet industry doesn't want you to know. Your mitochondria have been programmed to prefer sugar, and breaking this programming requires more than just avoiding carbs. Dr. Benjamin Bikman's groundbreaking research at Brigham Young University revealed something that should terrify you. When muscle cells are exposed to high insulin levels for just 48 hours, they lose 60% of their fat-burning capacity. Permanently. The mitochondria literally forget how to process fats efficiently. Now imagine what 20 years of processed food does to these cellular engines. Your body is like a hybrid car that's been forced to run on only one type of fuel for decades. The fat-burning engine hasn't just gotten rusty, it's been systematically dismantled. This is why people can fast for 16 hours and still feel like they're starving. They're surrounded by 100,000 calories of stored fat, but their cells can't access it. This explains why Sarah could eat zero carbs and still not burn fat. Her mitochondria were so damaged that even when glucose wasn't available, they couldn't efficiently process fatty acids. She wasn't failing the diet. Her cellular machinery was broken. And if you've been struggling with stubborn fat, despite doing everything right, your mitochondria might be broken too. Here's a fact that should make you furious. 88% of American adults have at least one marker of metabolic dysfunction. That means only 12% of people have truly healthy metabolism. Yet the medical establishment acts like this is normal. It's not normal. It's an epidemic that's been normalized by an industry that profits from your sickness. A 2019 study published in Cell Metabolism followed 2,000 adults with normal blood sugar for 5 years. What they discovered should shock you. Even people with perfect glucose readings showed early insulin resistance in their muscle tissue. Their pancreas was pumping out 3 times more insulin than necessary just to maintain normal blood sugar. They were pre-diabetic and didn't even know it. But here's where it gets sinister. When your muscle cells become resistant to insulin, your body doesn't just store the excess glucose as fat. It stores it as the most dangerous type of fat, visceral adipose tissue. This isn't just cosmetic storage around your midsection. This fat actively produces inflammatory compounds that make insulin resistance worse. It's a biological trap. The average American consumes 152 pounds of sugar per year. That's not just obvious sugar. It's hidden in bread, pasta, sauces, salad dressings, and even healthy foods like yogurt and granola bars. Every single time blood sugar spikes, insulin follows. Every insulin spike makes your cells more resistant. Most people are triggering this response 8 to 12 times per day without realizing it. But here's what makes me angry. The food industry knows this. They've engineered foods to be maximally addictive and metabolically damaging. Then they fund studies that blame obesity on lack of willpower, while they profit from your metabolic destruction. Tell me in the comments, are you starting to see how rigged this system is against you? The ketogenic diet industry has convinced millions of people that cutting carbs automatically equals fat burning. This is a dangerous oversimplification that's causing more metabolic damage than good. I'm about to tell you something that might upset keto enthusiasts, but it needs to be said. For 40% of people, strict ketogenic diets actually worsen metabolic dysfunction. Dr. Dominic D'Agostino's research at the University of South Florida proved this beautifully. When they gave MCT oil, the most ketogenic fat possible, to people with metabolic dysfunction, only 60% showed improved fat oxidation. The other 40% had mitochondria so damaged that they couldn't process fats efficiently, regardless of how many carbs they eliminated. The problem lies in the mitochondrial cristae, the folded inner membranes where fat oxidation actually happens. Years of high glucose and insulin exposure cause these delicate structures to become fragmented and dysfunctional. It's like trying to run a Formula One race with a broken engine. Changing the fuel doesn't fix the engine. This is why so many people try ketogenic diets and never achieve ketosis, no matter how strictly they follow the macronutrient ratios. Their bodies literally cannot manufacture ketones efficiently because the cellular machinery is broken. They blame themselves for doing it wrong, when the real problem is that nobody told them they needed to repair their mitochondria first. Here's my controversial take. The ketogenic diet industry has become as predatory as the processed food industry. They sell you expensive supplements and promise quick fixes while ignoring the fundamental cellular damage that prevents fat burning. How many of you have tried keto and struggled to get into ketosis? Be honest in the comments. I want to know if this resonates with your experience. Chronic inflammation is like having a fire burning inside your body 24/7, and this fire directly destroys your ability to burn fat. When inflammatory cytokines like TNF-alpha and IL-6 are elevated, they literally block the cellular pathways responsible for fat oxidation. Your body becomes a fat-storing machine, regardless of what you eat. A Harvard Medical School study followed 3,000 participants for 10 years and discovered something that should terrify the medical establishment. People with elevated C-reactive protein levels had a 78% higher risk of developing severe insulin resistance, regardless of their body weight, diet, or exercise habits. The inflammation was driving the metabolic dysfunction, not the other way around. But here's the most insidious part. Chronic inflammation creates a state called metabolic endotoxemia. This occurs when inflammatory compounds from your damaged gut leak into your bloodstream and trigger a system-wide immune response. Your body thinks it's under attack and shifts into survival mode, prioritizing glucose storage over fat burning. The connection between gut health and fat burning is so profound that it should be the first thing any weight loss program addresses. Research published in Nature Medicine revealed that people with certain gut bacteria profiles burned 30% more fat during exercise compared to those with inflammatory bacterial strains. Your microbiome literally controls whether you can access your fat stores. Yet most doctors never test for inflammation markers or gut health when people complain about weight gain. They just prescribe more restrictive diets and tell you to eat less, move more. This medical negligence is keeping millions of people trapped in metabolic dysfunction. Have you ever had a doctor test your inflammatory markers when you complained about stubborn weight? Let me know in the comments. I bet most of you haven't. Cortisol is supposed to be your friend, released in short bursts during actual emergencies to help you survive. But modern life has turned cortisol into your metabolic enemy. Chronic stress keeps cortisol elevated 24/7, and this literally programs your liver to manufacture glucose from your own muscle tissue, even when you're fasting. Dr. Robert Sapolsky's research at Stanford University demonstrated that chronic stress can increase cortisol production by 400% above normal levels. This excess cortisol doesn't just prevent fat burning, it actively breaks down your muscle tissue to create glucose. Your body is literally eating itself to maintain blood sugar, and you wonder why the scale won't budge. Your adrenal glands, which produce cortisol, can become so overstimulated that they lose their natural rhythm. Instead of the healthy morning spike and evening decline, cortisol remains elevated throughout the day and night. This disrupts every aspect of metabolism: insulin sensitivity, thyroid function, growth hormone production, and fat oxidation. Poor sleep is both a cause and consequence of this hormonal chaos. Elevated cortisol prevents deep sleep, which reduces growth hormone production, which impairs fat burning, which leads to energy crashes, which increases stress, which elevates cortisol. It's a vicious cycle that traps millions of people in metabolic dysfunction. Here's what makes me angry. We live in a society that glorifies chronic stress and sleep deprivation. We wear exhaustion like a badge of honor while our metabolisms collapse. Then we blame ourselves for not having enough willpower to lose weight. The system is designed to keep you stressed, tired, and metabolically broken. Are you starting to see the bigger picture here? Your thyroid produces hormones that control your metabolic thermostat. T4 is the storage form, but T3 is the active hormone that tells your cells how fast to burn fuel. Here's what your doctor probably doesn't know. 30% of people with normal thyroid tests have impaired T4 to T3 conversion at the cellular level. Their thyroid looks fine on paper, but their metabolism is crawling. The Journal of Clinical Endocrinology published research that should have revolutionized thyroid treatment. They found that standard thyroid tests, TSH and T4, miss 30% of people with thyroid dysfunction. These people have normal blood levels but impaired cellular conversion. They're told they're fine, while their metabolism dies a slow death. The conversion of T4 to T3 requires specific nutrients: selenium, zinc, and iodine. But it also requires healthy liver function because 80% of this conversion happens in your liver. If your liver is overwhelmed with toxins or clogged with fat, thyroid hormone conversion plummets. Your thyroid could be working perfectly, but if your liver is broken, you'll have hypothyroid symptoms. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease affects 25% of adults worldwide and directly impairs thyroid hormone metabolism. Your liver becomes so busy processing excess glucose and storing fat that it can't perform its hormone conversion duties. This creates a metabolic traffic jam that prevents efficient fat burning, yet most doctors never connect liver health to thyroid function. Here's my controversial opinion. The medical system's approach to thyroid health is criminally negligent. They use outdated reference ranges, test only basic markers, and ignore the liver-thyroid connection. Millions of people are suffering from undiagnosed thyroid dysfunction while being told their labs are normal. Have you been told your thyroid is fine despite having classic hypothyroid symptoms? Share your experience in the comments. If you're starting to feel angry about how the medical and diet industries have failed you, good. That anger means you're ready to take control of your own metabolic health. Everything I've shared so far explains why traditional approaches fail, but what's coming next is the solution. Make sure you're subscribed, because the protocol I'm about to reveal could save you years of frustration and thousands of dollars in failed diet attempts. And honestly, what I'm about to share next is information that some people don't want you to have. Your body operates on a precise 24-hour internal clock that controls when you burn fat versus when you store it. This circadian rhythm is so powerful that eating the exact same meal at different times of day produces completely different metabolic responses. Yet nobody talks about this because there's no money in telling people to eat with the sun. Dr. Sachin Panda's research at the Salk Institute proved something that should change how we think about nutrition forever. The same exact meal eaten at 8 a.m. versus 8 p.m. produces 23% higher glucose spikes and 18% higher insulin responses in the evening. Same food, same person, completely different metabolic impact based purely on timing. But here's where modern life sabotages your metabolism. Artificial light exposure, especially blue light from screens, disrupts melatonin production. Melatonin isn't just a sleep hormone. It directly influences insulin sensitivity and glucose metabolism. When melatonin is suppressed, your cells become more resistant to insulin, making fat burning nearly impossible. The solution isn't complicated, but it requires going against modern culture. Your metabolism is designed to work in harmony with natural light-dark cycles. Disrupting this rhythm with late-night eating, artificial light, and irregular sleep schedules sabotages your body's ability to switch between fuel sources efficiently. Here's what the sleep industry won't tell you. Expensive mattresses and white noise machines won't fix metabolic dysfunction caused by circadian disruption. The most powerful sleep aid is free. It's called darkness. But try telling that to someone scrolling Instagram at midnight. How many of you are reading this on your phone right now in a dark room? Be honest in the comments. The fitness industry has convinced you that more exercise equals more fat loss. This is not only wrong, it's dangerous. Excessive exercise triggers a stress response that elevates cortisol and inflammatory markers, shifting your metabolism toward glucose dependence instead of fat oxidation. Many people are literally exercising themselves into metabolic dysfunction. Dr. Phil Maffetone's research with elite endurance athletes revealed something that should shock the fitness world. Athletes who trained at lower intensities, 60 to 70% of maximum heart rate, burned significantly more fat than those who pushed into high-intensity zones. The high-intensity group actually became more sugar-dependent over time. Your muscles contain two primary fiber types: slow-twitch fibers that burn fat efficiently, and fast-twitch fibers that prefer glucose. High-intensity exercise predominantly recruits fast-twitch fibers, literally training your body to rely more heavily on sugar for fuel. It's the exact opposite of what most people are trying to achieve. The most effective exercise for fat burning is often the gentlest: walking, swimming, yoga, and resistance training at moderate intensities. These activities stimulate slow-twitch muscle fibers and improve mitochondrial function without triggering excessive stress responses that sabotage fat oxidation. Here's my controversial take that'll upset fitness influencers. The no pain, no gain mentality is metabolically destructive. The fitness industry profits from making you believe that suffering equals results, while the science shows that moderate, consistent movement is far superior for fat loss. How many of you have noticed that intense workouts make you hungrier and more tired? That's your metabolism crying for help. Protein isn't just about building muscle, it's about metabolic signaling. The amino acids from protein trigger the release of hormones like GLP-1 and PYY that directly influence your body's fuel-burning preferences. But the timing of protein intake can literally make or break your metabolic flexibility, and most people get this completely wrong. Research from the University of Texas revealed that consuming 25 to 30 grams of protein every 4 to 5 hours maintains optimal amino acid levels for fat oxidation. When protein intake is sporadic or concentrated in one large meal, your body shifts toward glucose metabolism to maintain blood sugar stability. You're literally programming your metabolism to prefer sugar. But here's what the protein powder industry doesn't want you to know. Not all proteins are created equal for metabolic health. Processed proteins, and those high in inflammatory amino acids like methionine, can actually impair fat burning. The highest quality proteins for metabolic flexibility come from wild-caught fish, grass-fed animals, and pastured poultry. Leucine, an amino acid found abundantly in animal proteins, activates a cellular pathway called mTOR that enhances mitochondrial biogenesis. This means consuming adequate leucine actually helps your body build new, healthy mitochondria that can burn fat more efficiently. Yet vegan protein sources are typically leucine deficient. This is going to be controversial, but I need to say it. The plant-based protein movement is metabolically damaging for most people. Plant proteins are incomplete, poorly absorbed, and often come packaged with anti-nutrients that impair digestion. The human body evolved to thrive on animal proteins, and denying this biological reality leads to metabolic dysfunction. Let me know in the comments if you've noticed energy improvements after increasing animal protein intake. Your body requires specific vitamins and minerals to burn fat efficiently, and modern food processing has created widespread deficiencies in the exact nutrients needed for fat metabolism. These micronutrient deficiencies create metabolic bottlenecks that prevent efficient fat oxidation, regardless of your diet or exercise habits. Magnesium is involved in over 300 enzymatic reactions in your body, including those responsible for fat metabolism. Research published in the Journal of Nutrition found that people with magnesium deficiency had 40% lower fat oxidation rates during exercise. Yet 80% of Americans are magnesium deficient, and most don't even know it. The B vitamins work as a team to convert fats and carbohydrates into usable energy. B1, thiamine, is particularly crucial for fat metabolism, and deficiency is surprisingly common, especially in people who consume alcohol or processed foods regularly. Without adequate B1, your mitochondria cannot efficiently process fatty acids. A study comparing the nutrient content of foods today versus 50 years ago found alarming declines in magnesium, zinc, iron, and B vitamins. Modern farming practices, soil depletion, and food processing have created a hidden epidemic of malnutrition, even among people eating healthy diets. Here's what makes me furious. The supplement industry knows about these deficiencies, but sells you synthetic vitamins that your body can barely absorb. Meanwhile, they ignore the root cause: nutrient-depleted food. The solution isn't more supplements, it's returning to nutrient-dense whole foods from healthy soil. But there's no profit in telling people to eat real food, so the cycle continues. Your gut and brain communicate constantly through the vagus nerve, and this communication directly controls whether you feel hungry or satisfied, whether you crave sugar or fat, and whether your body burns or stores fuel. When this gut-brain axis is disrupted, no amount of willpower can overcome the biological drive to overeat. Specific bacterial strains in your gut produce compounds called short-chain fatty acids that directly enhance fat oxidation. People with higher levels of butyrate-producing bacteria burn 25% more fat during rest compared to those with dysbiotic gut microbiomes. Your gut bacteria literally control your metabolism. But here's what the probiotic industry won't tell you. Most probiotic supplements are worthless. The bacteria are dead by the time you consume them, they don't survive stomach acid, and they don't colonize your gut. Real gut health comes from fermented foods and prebiotic fibers that feed your existing beneficial bacteria. Intestinal permeability, or leaky gut, allows bacterial toxins to enter your bloodstream, triggering system-wide inflammation that impairs fat burning. This condition is caused by processed foods, antibiotics, stress, and NSAIDs, all common in modern life. Healing the gut barrier is often the missing piece in metabolic restoration. Here's my controversial opinion. The medical establishment's denial of leaky gut syndrome is one of the biggest scandals in modern medicine. They dismiss it as alternative medicine, while research clearly shows the gut metabolism connection. Gastroenterologists profit from treating symptoms with expensive procedures while ignoring the root cause. Have you been told by a doctor that gut health doesn't affect weight loss? Share your experience in the comments. Your liver is your body's primary detoxification organ, processing over 500 different functions, including 80% of fat metabolism. When your liver is overwhelmed with environmental toxins, it cannot efficiently process fats for energy. This creates a metabolic traffic jam that forces your body to rely on glucose instead of accessing fat stores. Environmental toxins from pesticides, plastics, heavy metals, and processed foods accumulate in fat tissue and directly interfere with mitochondrial function. A study published in Environmental Health Perspectives found that people with higher levels of persistent organic pollutants had significantly impaired fat oxidation rates. Cruciferous vegetables contain compounds called glucosinolates that support liver detoxification pathways. These vegetables literally help your liver clear the metabolic waste products that accumulate during fat burning. Without adequate detoxification support, fat metabolism becomes increasingly inefficient and eventually shuts down. Even something as basic as water quality affects detoxification and metabolism. Chlorine in tap water disrupts gut bacteria balance, while fluoride interferes with thyroid function. Installing a quality water filter is often one of the most impactful changes people can make for metabolic health, yet it's rarely mentioned in weight loss programs. Here's what the chemical industry doesn't want you to know. We're living in the most toxic environment in human history, and these toxins are directly causing the obesity epidemic. They disrupt hormones, damage mitochondria, and impair detoxification pathways. Yet we're told obesity is caused by eating too much and moving too little. It's a massive cover-up to protect corporate profits while people suffer. Hormones work as an integrated system, not in isolation. Trying to optimize one hormone while ignoring others is like tuning one instrument in an orchestra while the rest play out of key. For efficient fat burning, you need insulin sensitivity, stable cortisol rhythms, optimal thyroid function, and balanced sex hormones working in perfect harmony. Morning light exposure is one of the most powerful hormone optimization tools available, and it's completely free. Getting 10 to 15 minutes of sunlight within the first hour of waking helps establish healthy cortisol rhythms, improves insulin sensitivity, supports thyroid function, and regulates appetite hormones. Yet most people start their day in artificial light. Testosterone isn't just important for men. Women need adequate levels too for optimal fat burning. Low testosterone in both sexes is associated with increased abdominal fat storage, reduced metabolic rate, and impaired muscle building. Resistance training, adequate protein, healthy fats, and sufficient sleep all support natural testosterone production. Growth hormone, released primarily during deep sleep, is crucial for fat metabolism and muscle preservation. Poor sleep quality can reduce growth hormone production by up to 80%, making fat loss nearly impossible, regardless of diet and exercise efforts. Sleep isn't a luxury, it's a metabolic necessity. Here's what the hormone replacement therapy industry doesn't want you to know. Most hormone imbalances can be corrected naturally through lifestyle interventions. They profit from selling you expensive treatments while ignoring the root causes of hormonal dysfunction. Before you consider hormone therapy, try optimizing your sleep, stress, light exposure, and nutrition. You might be surprised by what your body can do when given the right conditions. True metabolic flexibility means your body can efficiently switch between burning glucose and fat based on availability and demand. This isn't achieved through extreme measures or rigid protocols, but through gradual training of your metabolic pathways. Think of it as teaching your body to be bilingual with fuel sources. Time-restricted eating, when done properly, trains your body to access fat stores during fasting periods. But the key is gradual progression. Starting with a 12-hour eating window and slowly extending to 14 to 16 hours allows your metabolism to adapt without triggering stress responses that sabotage fat burning. Incorporating specific types of fats in your diet literally teaches your body how to burn fat more efficiently. MCT oils provide immediate ketones for brain fuel. Omega-3 fatty acids reduce inflammation, and monounsaturated fats improve insulin sensitivity. Each type of fat serves a different metabolic purpose. Zone 2. Cardio training, performed at 60 to 70% of maximum heart rate, specifically targets the aerobic energy system and improves mitochondrial fat oxidation capacity. This type of training literally builds your body's ability to burn fat efficiently, yet most people ignore it in favor of high-intensity workouts that impair fat burning. The fitness industry has brainwashed people into believing that suffering equals results. But the science is clear. Gentle, consistent training builds metabolic flexibility, while intense exercise often destroys it. The most effective fat-burning exercise is the kind that doesn't leave you exhausted and craving sugar. Revolutionary concept, right? We're approaching the most practical part, the specific protocol that can restore your metabolic flexibility in 90 days. If you've made it this far, you understand that this isn't about quick fixes or miracle cures. This is about systematic repair of your cellular machinery. Subscribe and turn on notifications because the implementation guide coming up is worth more than most paid courses. And honestly, what I'm about to share could save you thousands of dollars in failed diet attempts. Restoring metabolic flexibility requires a systematic 90-day approach that allows your cellular machinery to adapt and regenerate. This isn't a diet, it's a biological repair program. Days 1 to 30 focus on reducing inflammation and removing metabolic toxins. Days 31 to 60 introduce metabolic training. Days 61 to 90 optimize and fine-tune your fat-burning capacity. Phase 1 eliminates the biggest metabolic disruptors: seed oils, processed foods, artificial sweeteners, and chemical additives. This isn't about restriction. It's about removing the substances that actively poison your mitochondria. Replace inflammatory foods with nutrient-dense whole foods that provide the raw materials your cells need for repair. Phase 2 introduces time-restricted eating, starting with a comfortable 12-hour eating window and gradually extending based on how you feel. The goal isn't to push through hunger and discomfort, but to allow your body to naturally adapt to longer periods of fat burning without triggering stress responses. Phase 3 adds specific exercise protocols designed to enhance fat oxidation without triggering cortisol spikes. This includes Zone 2 cardio training, resistance exercises that target slow-twitch muscle fibers, and recovery practices that support mitochondrial health and hormone optimization. Here's what makes this protocol different from every diet you've tried. It works with your biology instead of against it. No extreme restrictions, no suffering, no unsustainable practices. Just systematic repair of the metabolic damage that's been keeping you trapped in sugar-burning mode. The first few weeks of metabolic retraining can be challenging as your damaged mitochondria learn to burn fat efficiently again. Understanding what to expect and how to navigate these challenges is the difference between success and giving up when things get difficult. energy dips during weeks 2 to 4 are completely normal and temporary. Your mitochondria are literally rebuilding themselves to process fats more efficiently. Supporting this transition with adequate electrolytes, B vitamins, and gentle movement helps minimize discomfort and accelerate the adaptation process. Tracking biomarkers like fasting glucose, ketones, and inflammatory markers provides objective feedback about your metabolic improvements. Many people feel discouraged when the scale doesn't move immediately, but cellular repair often precedes weight loss by several weeks. Trust the process. Having support during this transition dramatically improves success rates. Whether it's family members, friends, or online communities, surrounding yourself with people who understand metabolic health provides crucial motivation during challenging moments when old habits try to resurface. The biggest mistake people make is expecting linear progress. Metabolic healing happens in waves, periods of rapid improvement followed by plateaus. This is normal and doesn't mean the protocol isn't working. Your body is complex and healing takes time. Be patient with the process. Once you've established basic metabolic flexibility, advanced strategies can further optimize your fat-burning capacity. These techniques are for people who have mastered the fundamentals and want to achieve elite-level metabolic performance. Think of this as the graduate-level course in metabolic health. Controlled cold exposure activates brown adipose tissue and improves mitochondrial efficiency. Starting with 30-second cold showers and gradually increasing duration trains your body to generate heat through fat oxidation rather than shivering. This literally teaches your body to burn fat for warmth. Heat therapy through sauna use triggers heat shock proteins that protect and repair mitochondria while improving cardiovascular function. The combination of heat and cold exposure creates hormetic stress that strengthens your metabolic machinery and enhances fat-burning capacity. Advanced stress management techniques like heart rate variability training and specific breathing protocols optimize autonomic nervous system function. When your nervous system is balanced, hormone production improves, inflammation decreases, and metabolic flexibility increases dramatically. These advanced techniques aren't necessary for basic metabolic health, but they can take your fat-burning capacity to the next level. The key is mastering the fundamentals first. Too many people try to skip ahead to advanced strategies while ignoring the basics, which leads to frustration and failure. The goal of metabolic optimization isn't just weight loss or looking good in photos. It's about creating sustainable energy, mental clarity, disease prevention, and longevity. When your metabolism works efficiently, every aspect of your health improves, and you become an example for others to follow. True metabolic flexibility allows you to enjoy seasonal variations in food, celebrate special occasions, and navigate life changes without derailing your health. You understand how different foods affect your body and can make informed choices without obsession or restriction. The principles of metabolic health extend beyond individual benefits. When you model healthy behaviors, you influence your family and community. Teaching these concepts to the next generation helps break cycles of metabolic dysfunction that have become epidemic in our society. Metabolic health provides freedom, the freedom to make informed choices without fear or restriction. You understand your body's signals, trust your hunger and satiety cues, and can navigate any situation while maintaining your health goals. This is true food freedom. The most rewarding part of optimizing your metabolism isn't the weight loss or improved appearance. It's the confidence that comes from understanding your body and knowing you have the tools to maintain your health for life. You become your own health expert instead of relying on external authorities who profit from your confusion. Your metabolism isn't broken beyond repair. It's been systematically damaged by modern life and can be systematically restored through targeted interventions. Everything we've covered represents decades of research into why conventional weight loss fails and what actually works at the cellular level. The 90-day protocol I've outlined isn't just theory. It's based on the biological mechanisms that control how your body burns fuel. This approach works because it addresses root causes instead of symptoms. It repairs the cellular damage that keeps you trapped in sugar-burning mode. If this information resonated with you, please share it with someone who's struggling with their metabolism. The more people who understand these principles, the more we can shift away from the diet industry's profit-driven lies towards science-based approaches that actually work. Your next step should be understanding how to implement these strategies in your daily life. The video appearing on your screen now breaks down the specific foods, timing, and lifestyle practices that support metabolic flexibility. Everything you need to know to start your 90-day transformation is waiting for you. Subscribe for weekly deep dives into the science of metabolic optimization. What's the biggest obstacle preventing you from burning fat efficiently? Let me know in the comments below. Your question might become our next video topic. Remember, your best health is ahead of you, not behind you.